So this is my final presentation for EdTech 615, Blossoming with Data. Let's get started. First, an introduction. Hi, I'm Sonia Fisher-Sava, and this is my presentation for the Data Action Plan. Throughout this whole process, I have really felt like it is comparable to growing plants and having beautiful flowers blossom from your efforts. I think that using the data action model helps you really analyze what your seedlings need. When you first start them off, you need to look at where your soil is or what your subject matter is, your lesson plan, and you need to analyze how they are starting to grow. You want them to start growing like this, blossoming up. And then you need to add what they need. Do they need more sunlight? Do they need water? Do they need plant food? And using the data action model helps you find out what it is they need. I think we all want our plants to end up like this and not like this. So join me on my presentation and I will explain my whole process throughout this journey. So the goal was to create a very, very explicit data action plan. But before we get there, we had all the steps to go through. This is the finished product, but to get there, first we had to look at our data set. I used the generic data provided by the class. It was second grade math standards, addition and subtraction within 20, and the info contained student demographics and performance. This video gives a good explanation of the Notice and Wonder protocol and also the exploratory questions. Exploratory Questions, EdTech 615 by Sonia Sava. First, I used the Notice and Wonder protocol to analyze my data. For my data set, I'm analyzing a class of 25 second graders. The data is covering math, specifically adding and subtracting up to 20. The three objectives are adding and subtracting up to 20, knowing from memory sums up to 20 involving two one-digit numbers, and solving word problems with addition and subtraction. Analyzing the data showed that 20% of the students were limited English speakers, 24% had an IEP, 44% were below proficiency on MSA Math, and 40% were below proficiency on MSA Reading. Here are the three objectives contained in this data set for math. Please note the low class averages. Here are some of my notice statements. And here are my wonder statements. The Notice and Wonder protocol produced some solid exploratory questions, which are listed here. After analyzing the data, I can conclude that the math objectives were not fully understood by all students. In the data, the class averages on work graded was consistently low and decreased with each objective. To me, this means that they were not learning and not retaining the information on the math activities. So after going through the Notice and Wonder protocol and coming up with exploratory questions, we moved on with my teammate to noting instructional and learning gaps and setting the SMART goal. Our exploratory question was, how can we differentiate activities to promote mastery for all learning styles? We analyzed the lesson plan and the assessments. In the lesson plan, we noted the activities and the instruction were very weak, which likely resulted in low, poor student performance. The activities were not at all explicit. They didn't give opportunities for students to learn strategies to help them retain the math facts. And it really seemed geared toward high functioning students that already had mastered all the addition and subtraction facts. We felt that the lesson plan and activities really mainly were instructional gaps. So our goal was for our data action model was to have an explicit instruction plan paired with a variety of learning centers geared toward differentiation. We wanted to have a variety of centers that would meet all the different learning styles. And our SMART goal was students will improve their individual mastery of addition and subtraction by 10% in a 2-week period. So moving on to the data action plan, getting ready for it. My teammate and I communicated frequently by phone, text message, email, and we decided that we would set up a DIGO website or a DIGO page that we could take time and each research to the internet to find different activities, different lesson plans that could help meet a variety of learning styles. After we had gone through a few days and each bookmarked on our DIGO web page, we used the planning protocol rubric to go through and basically grade the activities that we had set. You can see here we have in the orange, it's a teacher-specific, teacher-directed activity that the students would all have to come up and meet with us at this center. We had online addition games bookmarked. We had three very much hands-on activities: a beach ball game, a terrific 10 card game, and a plate addition game. And the exit ticket would be an online timed math minute. You can see that they all rated pretty high on the planning protocol, and that's why we chose these activities to include into our data action plan. So we're back at the data action plan now. So here's the finished product. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but you can see as the activities that I just spoke to, we've got the teacher-directed activity, we've got the description of it, as well as the link to the website with the lesson plan. We have the online addition games, we have the beach ball bonanza, terrific 10s, plate addition, and the exit ticket. In this action plan, since our main goal and our exploratory question was to meet different learning styles, so we detailed what learning styles each activity would be tailored to. So the final data meeting, I was put into a new group, which at first I wasn't super excited about just because I had really worked well with my previous teammate in coming up with the data action meeting. However, after I realized and got to meet everybody and talk to them, that it was really, really helpful to have some fresh eyes on my data action model, to see if it was explicit enough, if the activities were good. And I got a lot of really good feedback. I was in a team with 4 other people, and we decided that we would each pair up to give reviews on our material and then get back together in a Google Hangout and compile our information. Here it's just some of the comments from my teammate on my reviews, and I felt it was very helpful. I enjoyed it. So in this whole process, the useful protocols, I really, really liked the notice and wonder. I felt that it kind of gave you license to take time and just kind of brainstorm and daydream a little bit about what that data is showing. I really feel that's very helpful, and I've never done it in that way before. I also think noting not only the learning gaps, but also the instructional gaps was really, really eye-opening to me. I feel that as teachers, we look at the data and it's just a bunch of numbers,
and we kind of breeze past it and just assume it's all in the fault of the students at times. But I really think that we really need to look at what instructional gaps are. And I think that this part of this whole process was really, really useful to me. And also, I really like brainstorming with peers. I think it's always useful. I think it always elevates your learning and also your output, what you're providing to the students. I think if you can get a variety of people in there that are comfortable with each other and just are knocking ideas off of each other, you're always going to have a better situation. So my insights, I feel that an area of strength for me was the notice and wonder. I think I was able to think critically about what the data was revealing and hypothesize about what the info could contain for the student population in the data. By taking my time and considering all this data, I was able to brainstorm strong exploratory questions that would address the deficits in the instruction and learning. And I think that I'm able to kind of get outside of my box and that in my thinking. And I think that helps in both the notice and wonder and exploratory questions. I also think just communication and teamwork is a general strength of mine. I really am a talker and I really, really like working with people. I just think getting a good team together with people with different experiences and a variety of backgrounds can only just elevate your whole experience. Areas for growth, I think that this has made me realize that I really need more background and training on differentiation. I think that I am able to do this. However, I have just kind of a surface knowledge of the different learning styles. I'd really like to learn more and get more in depth about the different learning styles. I think that learning more about the various components of the learning style would enable me to create more engaging and effective learning opportunities for my students. And also, I think another area of growth would be more opportunities for online collaboration. This was the first time that I really was doing quite a bit of teamwork online by using Google Documents, Google Slides, Google Hangouts, texting and emailing. And I think it went really well. And I was a little bit nervous about the prospect at the beginning, and now I really realize how powerful it is. But I think it's just one of those things that the more opportunities you get to do this, the better you're going to get at it. So, lessons learned. I think I will always, from here on out, really look at the data and try to identify instructional gaps, not just learning gaps. I think that I've learned that more informal and personal assessments like exit tickets are very powerful. And I think having the students use self reflection is incredibly powerful and incredibly useful for teachers in identifying instructional gaps. I think giving the students the opportunity to choose learning activities, if you have a variety of activities set up specifically to different learning styles, is powerful. I think that students naturally gravitate towards activities that match their specific learning style, and I think this would give them a lot of empowerment in their education. And finally, I learned that Google Hangouts is really effective and I enjoyed using it. So, my professional goals from here on out, I want to create more authentic activities for my students in relation to their learning styles. I want to be part of a school team that makes data-driven decisions regarding instruction. I think all schools say that they make data-driven decisions, but I want to be part of a regular PLN that meets on a weekly basis and is really using this whole protocol and data action model and notice and wonder and exploratory questions, all of that on a regular basis because I think it's really, really powerful. I want to become more knowledgeable about activities in each learning style for different learning styles, and that just goes back to differentiation. I want to have a better background and more knowledgeable about that. So, this was my final presentation, Blossoming with Data. I have enjoyed this semester and I feel that I've learned quite a bit. Thank you.